Very good morning to all of you. In our previous session, we have finished a second unit and we were having one surprise test, right? So we have finished unit 1 and unit 2, right? So here we can see the syllabus that what are the topics that we have covered. Yeah. So here the first unit it was Java overview, right? Java introduction, platform independence, what is JVM, what is JDK, data types, operators, if, switch, while, do, while, for, loop, break, and continue. Right? This is what we have finished. Same way, single array, multi-dimensional array, library classes like string and string, buffer, and refer class. Then the command line argument. That what we have done in our first unit only, right? And various string operations. So this is what we have finished, right? And now we are having this third unit, which is about the class, object, and methods. Now from here, we will actually create the different classes, what the classes would be having. Right now, we don't have any kind of instance variable or the methods. We are directly creating one class. Inside that, we are simply writing this public static void main, and we are doing a very simple normal thing like system.out.println. Whatsoever the variables we are creating, that is also we are creating within public static void main, right? They are not the instance variable, right? Here everything, examples and everything that is taken from the complete reference by Herbert Schild. Okay. I hope I'm audible to you guys. I'll check my
Yeah,
connection.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, fine. So here, right. Here what we were having is, we were having one class, say suppose example, right? Then directly we used to take public static void main, right? And whatever we are writing. And here, if we are creating integer a and b, they are not said to be instance variable, they are local variables, right? Because its scope is within this opening and the closing one, right? Between this opening and closing. They are not the class variables, right? Because they are not declared inside the scope of class. If I'm creating my variables here like this, then they are known as instance variable. Why? Because their scope is starting from the class and its scope will end with the class. So is this thing is clear? Yes or no? What is the difference between this variable where we are creating and this variable? Very first thing to understand. Okay? Fine. All right. And instance variable means global variable. No, we cannot say that global variable. Global variable term we were using in C language, where out of the integer main we used to declare any of the variable that is known as global variable, which everybody can use. But here it is not like that, that this is the global variable and anyone can access it. No, they are within the class, right? They are within the class. So it is not like that a global variable, right? They are known as instance variable. That's it. Fine. Is it okay? Yeah, fine. So, and if we wish to create the object of this class, right? What we used to write, how I can create the object. I can take this class name, right? And then any of the objects, say suppose obj1 or e1, whatever you will take, right? That is perfectly fine. Equals to new. and then again the class name. This is what the syntax of Java, how to create the object. Okay, this is how you can create the object. So this is, you are creating a class. Again, you know that class is what? Class is collection of variables and methods. And a special type of methods also included over here, which is known as constructor. You know this thing, right? Why we are using constructor? Because we want to initialize our instance variable, right? And for that you are using constructor specially, and methods to do a particular task. Though you can create a method also to initialize the values, that is also possible, right? But every time you need to call this method. So we will see one by one everything with examples. So don't worry, right? Just remember, class is a collection of variables and methods, right? And we are having constructors also in the class, right? And for this class, you can create an object. Okay. So let's start with the slides. A third unit that is about the class, object, and methods. We can even overload the methods and all. So many of the terms you already know because of C++. Right? Many of the terms you know. Right. So a class and object. A class can be defined as a template or a blueprint that describes the behavior or state of the object of its type support. Right. Objects have states and behaviors, right? Because whenever you are creating the object, at that time actual state and behavior that you are giving, right? Say suppose if I'm having a class named as car, okay, if I'm having class car, okay, blueprint would be what? Say suppose string color, right? Then integer or float mileage, right? Or anything related to it, which company or whatever you can take over here, they all are the variables, right? And methods. Methods would be what? You can drive the car, you can brake, right? You can do anything with it. You can race the car. So they are your methods. So right now I'm just including these variables, right? Now I'm taking another class, car demo. And here, what I'll do is, I'll take this public static void main here. Okay. And here I'm creating object of this class, car. So here I'm creating object of car, that car C1 equals to new car. And here I'm giving the details. Say suppose in parameterized constructor that the color of my car is white, the name of my car, very first thing, that also you can take, right? String name. Okay. So what is my car name? Say suppose I-20, then it's white color, and then mileage, how much it's giving, that what I'm writing over here, in the company, that's I'll write Hyundai, right? Okay, it's simple. So now this is what I'm giving. Okay, this is what I'm giving. So whenever I'm creating any object, okay, at that time only I'm giving the value for this blueprint. I'm giving the value for this blueprint. So class is nothing but it's a kind of blueprint that it will be very similar for all the classes, for all the objects, sorry, right? That whatever the object, whatever the car you are having, that car would be having name, that car would be having color, that car would be having mileage, that car is having company. So all these things, so I am writing in generalized way. And whenever I'm specifying the object, at that time I'm actually describing the actual value for that blueprint. So I hope this thing is very clear to you guys. Yes or no? If no, then I'll again explain. Huh? Please let me know. You are getting the things or not. What is class and what is the object? Only one person is replying. What about the others? Okay, good. So who will explain or who will help me out to write one another class named as student? Say suppose I'm writing class student, right? What kind of variable would be here? What kind of variable I can take here? Yes, anyone? Okay, good, Siraj. Name, enrollment number, very nice. Then Janvi is saying, sorry, Pooja is saying class, TC1, TC2. Fine, good, good. Lab batch, good, Anjali. Very nice. Email ID, phone number, everything, whatsoever the details which is showing in the portal, that all the details I can include over here. The parent's mobile number, your personal email ID, which category you have taken the admission, what is the stream, that is CEIT, for example, or whatever the details you are living into the hostel or not, what is your temporary address, permanent address, everything that could be your instance variable. Yes or no? Right? They all are your variables. And now what I can have the methods. What kind of methods I could have in my class? Yes, what kind of methods I could have? Methods means functions. You can give the exam, right? Generate the results, all right? So such kind of things we can do with this. Yes or no? They are the functions, correct? Yes, great. Right, so that thing I can do. And say suppose I am taking right now just very simple thing, that enrollment number, right, and string name, only two variables, right? You can create as many as you can, and I'm not including right now functions. So what I can do, whenever I'm creating the object in another class in this public static void main, I'm not writing everything. Okay, so how you can create the object student? S1 equals to new student. And here I can provide all the details. Say suppose enrollment number, that is an integer. So here an integer I can give any value, that's 1, 2, 3, say suppose, and name, say suppose January, right? So this is what I can give, right? So whenever you are creating the object, you are actually providing the details. But whenever you are creating the class, they are just the blueprint. It is something like you have to remember, fill in the blanks. Here I'm having enrollment number, here I'm having name. So left hand side is fixed. They are your labels, right? And the right hand side, whatever is the data you are filling for a single person, for a single student, that is your object, right? Clear this thing, what is class and what is object? It is the most important thing, right? If still you are having any doubt, you can please ask me, huh? Because if you don't know what is class and what is object, then we cannot go ahead. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Fine. Okay. So here the example, a dog has the states like a color, a name, breed, as well as behavior, wagging the tail or barking, eating. So this thing you can consider as your method. Wherever there is a behavior, behavior means method, and states means your variable. So is this thing clear? Any object would be having state or behavior. State means your variables, instance variables, value, whatever you are providing. And behavior means method of your class. So an object is an instance of a class, right? It's a real time entity, you can say. So many definitions are there, but about the definition, at least you know what is object clearly. Okay, fine. Then here the new keyword that is used to allocate the memory for the object at runtime, right? Every time whenever you are creating the object, dynamically memory has been allocated. Now, what would be the memory for any of the object? How much byte would be occupied? That depends on what? How many number of instance variables you are having. That is depends on that, right? If you are having a student S1, that is the object, whenever you are writing new keyword, it means it will actually allocate memory space for to store these values. Right. So here I'm having integer ENRL, right? Enrollment number. So I can say that 4 bytes will be there. And for the string also, it is known as the character array, right? And character here stores 2 bytes. So according to your name, it will simply multiply by 2, right? Whatever your length is there, multiply by 2. So that many bytes will be occupied, right? Clear this thing? Hopefully, yes. Okay. All the objects get the memory in heap memory area. And how you can create the object. Say suppose it is student. So student S1 is equals to new student. If you are not providing the details right now, okay, that what I have shown to you directly with the use of parameterized constructor. But if you are not writing this, you can simply create the object first, and then also you can give the value like S1 dot enrl equals to something. So 1 2 3. So this is how you can assign or initialize the value. Or you can do s1 dot strcpy string copy. What you are copying in name, that is January, right? So this is how you can assign the value, right? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. So this is what the case. Now the next. Here is the very first example of your student class, that class student. It would be having integer ID, or you can say that that is the enrollment number, right? Here is a string name. Over here in the single class, you can directly define public static void main. But generally in Java, what we are doing is we are not mixing everything. We are not making hodgepodge every time. So I'm showing you all the examples, right? That what you can do, what you can't. So here you can even write like this class student, right? And here only the variables, right? And then here only public static void main. And in this public static void main, you can create object and so on, right? So this is how you can write a class. But generally what we will do is we will make a separation between our class and for another class where I'm having public static void main. So what I can do is I can take one class that is student. Okay. And here I can write that integer ID and string name. Okay. And directly this class is over. Now what I'm having is another class. Say suppose I'm having student demo. Now here in this class I'm having public static void main. Okay. And here now I'm creating the object of the student, not the student demo. I'm creating the object of my student class so that I can write over here that student S1 and so on. This is how you can write one example. I hope this is clear. Two different ways I have shown to you, right? These are the two different ways how you can write it. Okay, clear this thing? Yes, okay, right. Fine. So here what I've done is I have taken this public static void main and here student S1 is equals to new student. So this is a very first time I'm just creating the object. Here I won't be having any value inside this, right? Some of the garbage value I'll be having. Why? Because I haven't yet initialized my values. I'm directly accessing in system.out.println s1.id, s1.name, right? But I haven't initialized it yet. So for that, either I can include method or I can include the constructor. Okay, so one by one, step by step, we will learn everything. Okay, so another example that I would like to show you. So here I've created one class that is box. Okay, box would be having what kind of states? So it is something like width, height, and depth. These three values I have taken as double variable. Okay, here my class is over. I'm only having this many things. Okay, these three things: width, height, depth. Now I'm taking another class which is box demo. Inside that I'm having public static void main. And now what I'm doing is I'm creating object of my box class. So this is my box one or object one or M1, whatever the name you wish to give. My box one equals to new box. So here I'm simply just creating an object. Object one, object two. So two different objects I've created. Now what I need to do is I just need to give the values. Just need to initialize the value for this width, height and depth, right? So I cannot directly access width. I cannot directly access height, right? Instead of that, what I need to do every time if you wish to access your instance variable, you have to call it or you need to access it via object name. So that we already know. Now someone will ask that, ma'am, what would be the access specifier of this variable? But nobody has asked yet. Right? What would be the access specifier by default for this? Just like in C++, it was by default what? In C++, what was by default? It was private. Yes. So the private variables you cannot access outside of your class like this, right? So you must have this question that how we can access this if it is by default private, right? So that is the question, no? So here I'll say that you would be having 4 different types of access specifier, right? First is private, second protected, third public, and fourth one, that is default. Okay, default. If you are not specifying anything, it means that is default. Default will do what? Default would be accessible within same package. Okay, so if I would be having a same package, if I would be having a same folder, in that folder whatsoever the classes I'll declare, those all the classes can access each other's variables. So clear this thing. I just need to do what? I just need to create the object, and via object I can access those variables. Simple. In a same package. So simple. If you don't know what is the package right now, so what I can say is, here I am having a package, or you can say folder, that is class and objects. So within this class and object, whatsoever the files I'll make, whatsoever the Java classes I'll make, they can use each other's data, or at least in a same file they can access it. Simple thing. Now I hope you can understand this, yes or no? Because I'm not specifying anything, right? I'm not saying it is private, I'm not saying it is public, I'm not saying it is protected, I'm not writing anything. Anything means it is known as default. Okay, and if here the access specifier is the default, you can access it. So that is why I am accessing over here this width easily. Okay, this width, and I'm giving the value equals to 10, 20, and 50. Okay, now here what I'm doing is I'm doing the task that I wish to find volume of the box. So here what I can do is I can take one variable which is double volume, because my all 3 variables are of double. So the final answer would be in double. So I'm taking over here this volume equals to my box 1 dot width. So it would be 10 over here into my box 1 dot height into my box 1 dot depth. This is how I can find the volume of box. Okay, not the area, I'm saying volume. So here the volume is this. This is what simply I'm printing. Here we are showing you the use of method. If you are not making function, if you are not making method, then what will happen? You have to write each and every time this thing again and again. So one by one, step by step, I'll show you everything. That first time you don't have any methods, you are only having these 3 variables in your class box. Okay. Now again, if I'm having another object, my box 2, again I need to initialize the value. So I need to write every time these 3 lines again and again, again and again. So we will be having solution for that also. Okay. Here what I'm doing is my box 2 dot width equals to this, and this. This 3 I have given. Again I'm finding the volume, and I'm simply printing that volume is this. So clear this thing first. We can run this. So here I'll compile this program, and now I'll run box demo. So what will be printed? Volume is this and volume is this for both the different objects, right? First time it was 10, 20, 15, and second time 20, 20, 25. So I'm having 10,000. That is the volume. Very easy thing to understand what is class and what is object, how I can create any class as object. Okay, I can create the object like this. But this is actually nothing, but they are calling the constructor. If you don't have any argument here, then it will call your default constructor. Okay, default constructor, because compiler will provide this default constructor automatically, because see, you haven't described anything, no? You haven't tried this constructor here, like this is the box and something inside it. You haven't specified anything, right? You haven't write any constructor, so that compiler will automatically provide this constructor that is known as default constructor every time whenever you are creating an object. Clear this thing up to this? So we can move further, because see, here I'm going so slow, huh? Here I'm going very slow. Each and every concept you should understand. Okay, fine, good. All right. Okay, good, fine. Cool. So here now another thing to understand. Whenever you are creating an object, at that time what will happen? So okay. So say suppose whenever you are writing, this is the text box, yes. You are writing here that box, my box, or I'll write simply B1 equals to new box. Whenever you are writing like this, at that time actually the memory will be created. But what if you are writing like this, box B1? Only box and B1. So here this time it will create the reference to the object. Reference to the object. So what it means, whenever you are writing such kind of statement, at that time it will simply create this, right, which has a null value. Okay, it will be having null, it's not pointing to anywhere, and this is what is your B1. Okay, this is your B1, which is not pointing to anywhere because actual memory has not been created, right? But whenever now the very next statement, if you will write like this, that B1 here, when you will write that B1 is equals to new box. Okay, first what you have done, box B1, and now you are saying B1 is equals to new box. So at that time only, what will happen? Wherever there was a null over here, and here it was B1, right? Now they are pointing somewhere. I hope I would be having arrow over here. Anyways, so here it is pointing, and number of bytes will be created in heap area, right? So what I would be having over here, I'll be having the values like 3. That's width, height, and depth. So 4 bytes, or sorry, 8 bytes for this, 8 bytes for this, and 8 bytes for this. And this is how it will be created, and my B1 is pointing to this. This is how it will be created. I hope this thing is clear, because I'm not having a whiteboard, otherwise I could explain very well, but still I'm trying my best to explain what will happen. So is this thing is clear? Yes or no? So first time if you are simply writing, so at that time it will create just reference to your object. It is not actually creating the object, or it is not actually creating the memory space. Okay. When the actual memory space will be generated whenever you are writing new keyword. Okay. So new keyword is very important. Fine. So now say suppose here only I'm changing. Here I have written this B1 is equals to new box, right? And now if I'll write here that box B2 equals to B1. Now what will happen? Anyone can tell me this? What will happen when I'm writing box B2 equals to B1? Yes. My question is to you. Whenever I'm writing B2 equals to B1, box B2 equals to B1, what will happen? To check the same value, reference to B2, okay, yes, okay, reference to B2, so that is fine. But where it is pointing out, the pointer will be where, because see, I'm simply writing box B2, so I can say that that is reference to object, simply like your B1, right? But here what I'm writing is B2 equals to B1. So very simple to understand. Yeah, yes, Shyam, related, yes. So what it will do, it will not create any new memory. Instead of that, what it will do, here B2 will be generated, right? This is your B2, and B2 is pointing to the same place where B1 is pointing. So here only. No extra memory space will be occupied. Previously, whatsoever it was there, width 8, height 8, and depth 8, whatever I have created for B1, at the same place B2 is pointing out right now. So you can call these objects two different names. Either you can refer it via B1 or you can refer it via B2. Both are the same. They will lead you the same place. Clear this thing? Yes or no? Because I haven't written new keyword. You just have to think that have I written over here new keyword at the time of when I'm generating B2? No. If I'm writing over here box B2 equals to new box, then new memory space will be occupied just like this, width 8, height 8, depth 8. Right? But I haven't written new keyword, means new memory space won't be there. So what it will do, it will simply point out wherever the B1 is pointing out. That's it. Clear? Yes. Okay. Now if I'm writing over here B1 equals to null, then what will happen? After writing this box B2 equals to B1, I'm saying that B1 equals to null. So what will happen? This object would be destroyed or what? Yes. I'm expecting the answers from you. Huh? Yes, Rahul, correct. Correct. No, box won't be empty. Only this link will be destroyed. Means B1 is setting to null, na? So fine. this link won't be there. Now B1 is having the value null, means like this, as same like the previous. But B2 is still pointing to this, still. So this object will be there only, but you can access all the things via B2, not via B1, because B1 is right now pointing to null. Okay, so correct. Getting the things? Yes or no? Yeah, okay. Fine. Then again, moving to the next topic, right? What we were facing that you have seen, right? Now I'm having same program, but with the extended one. What we were facing, as many number of objects I'll create, for that I need to write this volume wala code again and again for all the different objects. So that is only the use, that you don't want to write the similar code again and again, and that is why you are using function, or you can say method. So what I did is, I was having my class box where I was having 3 variables. Now I'm including another method over here, void volume. And here I'm printing the volume is, and I'll simply write width into height into depth. Now why I'm not writing, or I'm not specifying the object name over here, that object dot width and object dot falana and this, because this is what method means function, and that will always be called via object. So whosoever object is invoking this method, their object's data, width, height and depth will be referred here. Very simple. So you don't have to specify object over here. You don't have to. You just need to write the logic, that width into height into depth, that is known as volume. That's it. Now what I'm doing in this box demo, again I'm creating 2 objects, my box 1 and 2. Here still initialization part is remaining, right? So I have to initialize for first object, that is my box 1. And I'm giving the value 10, 20, 15 and so on. For the second one, we will simply come up with the solution also, that I need to write every time this 3 lines, again 3 lines, again 3 lines. If I'm having 50 objects, 50, then I have to write 150 lines. Okay, so we will be having the solution for that also, but right now we will see step-by-step solution. Okay, so what I'm doing is, now I don't have to calculate this volume here. Instead of that, what I'll do, I'll simply call this method with one object. When I'm writing my box 1 dot volume, what width, height and depth will be referred? This one, 10, 20 and 50, because my object, my box 1 is having this 3 values for width, height and depth. So that will be calculated, and volume is this. Simply that will be printed. Okay. All right. Same way for the my box 2. Again, I'll call this method, that is dot volume. So that will be called. Easy. Everyone clear this thing? Why we have used method? Okay. Right. Very nice. Good. Fine. Then what we are doing over here is, you can even write this system.out.println over here. You can calculate the volume over here. Only the thing is, what you are calling the method over here, and method is returning something. In our previous example, it was void. If you can see over here, my method was void. So it is not returning anything. When it is not returning anything, system.out.println, this thing you are doing over here. But I want to do such task in my box demo 3. I don't want to simply call these methods. Instead of that, I need to calculate everything over here in this class. So what I can do, I would be having the solution this, that it will simply return width, height and depth. Data type would be what? Double. So I have written return type as double. So here, if the value is returning, then somebody would be there who will catch the value. So for that, I have taken another extra variable, double volume, and now volume equals to, and then I'm calling the function. Because this method will return something and that will be finally stored in volume, and that I'll print over here. Very simple to understand. So in my previous example, it was not returning anything. And in this example, it is returning something, right? So I'm showing you a single method with the two different types. Okay, right. So this is what I have done. I'm printing over here that volume is whatsoever I have calculated in volume. In volume, how I have calculated, I have simply called my object name dot volume. When I go to that method volume, it will return width into height into depth. So this is how I'm calculating volume, and I'm printing it. Okay. Now the next is what I can do. I was having the problem of this three lines over here. So if you remember, what I'm doing is for initializing my value, for setting the values, I can make one method, or you can say one function. Okay. So what I'm doing over here is here I was having this variables. I was having one function which will calculate the volume, and now I'll add one more method, that void set dimension. I just need to set the dimension whatsoever will be passed over here as an argument, that I'll set to my original values, width, height and depth instance members, instance variables. So here this width equals to whatsoever the user have passed from here, that is W. So you can see here the W is 10. Width, height H equals to 20 and depth D equals to 50. So that's what I have passed and that I have set over here. Many of the times I have seen in the exam, many people is writing like this, W equals to width. I really don't understand what they mean to say here. Means I'm setting my formal parameter with my instance variable. Is it so? So don't do any mistakes. Simple thing to remember, a simple tip. Whatever the instance variables you are having, that is only your goal to set. So that would be always at the left hand side. Please remember this thing. Don't make such kind of blunders. That W equals to width. Don't do that. Whatever the instance variables you are having, that is equals to whatever here I have taken as my formal parameter. I can even take over here ABC, and this is what my wish, right? Any names you can give. This is the formal parameter of your method, of your function, right? You can write anything over here. I have taken it as a WHND for the short, right? Clear this thing? So this is how I have added one method. So I don't have to write that three lines again and again. So here I'm having this box, my box 1, and this my box 2. I have created two objects. I'm taking double volume. Now I'm calling the set dimension, because first I need to set the values, no? So again, here this is the method, or you can say function. So that will be called always via the object. So in my box 1, so you can say that this thing is right now the empty one. Okay, this thing is empty, no? So I just simply need to add the values over here for my box 1, because they are blank right now. They have only 8 bytes blank. Here no values have given yet. So that's what I'm doing. I'm giving the values that 10, 20 and 15 that would be set as my width, height and depth to my box 1, my very first object. And I want to give my another object the values like 3, 6 and 9. So that will be set via this code. So this is what you are setting, the values. And now finally you are calling your volume method. So that part will remain as it is. I have just made the changes over here. So is this thing is clear? Now again I will show you the use that why you don't have to use method, and instead of that why you need to use parameterized constructor. Because again I need to write this two lines no every time that this is 10, 20 and 15. Instead of that, if I'll set this as my box, say suppose I'm changing over here, that is my box. So this is nothing but this is my parameterized constructor. I'll write the same thing. I would be having three arguments. I'll set this dimensions and that's it. So instead of the method, I can make it as my constructor. What is the benefit? I don't have to write this two lines over here. Right? I don't have to write this two lines here. Instead of that, this 10, 20, 15, I can write whenever I'm creating the object. Very simple. Done. So I can reduce this many lines. Say suppose I'm having 50 objects, so I need to write this 50 lines no to call my method. But I'm already creating my object, so here this 50 lines I cannot simply eliminate. Instead of that, I can give the values over here only, so I don't have to write this 50 lines. So this is the very simple change what I made. That's it. Clear this thing? Yes or no? Why I need to eliminate the method? Though you can still use, nobody can stop you, right? You can use the method to initialize the variables. But generally what we are doing is generally we are taking constructor to initialize the variables. And what different kinds of constructors and all that we will see. Again, I'll repeat this topic, so don't worry. We will see what is constructor, what are the rules of the constructor, what different types of the constructor. So that we will see in our very next lecture. So that's all from my side for today. If any questions are there, you can ask me, or else we'll wind up the session. No questions? Clear everybody? What is class and what is object? Fine. Clear. Very nice. Good. Okay. Fine. So you people can write down your enrollment numbers in sequence. Okay, in sequence. Number 1, then number 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Yes, I mean when I shifted to CBET, so I don't have that link. You can simply check into your calendar that would be changed. If it is not yet, then within 1 hour it will be changed by the faculty link. Whoever the respective faculty.
Ma'am, but 10 o'clock link is not there. So what I do?
Not there. Whose lab?
No.
Whose lab is that in feedback according to the timetable? Feedback students.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, yes. What I'm asking is, CBET is having which subject lab? Whose lab is?
Your subject, Java.
Sorry, I'm just pardon.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, I mean you are audible. You are audible.
Yes, but ma'am, your voice is not coming clear.
Okay. Maybe there is a network issue. Fine. Fine, I'll see and check. So don't worry. Or else I'll paste
Okay.
the link in a group. Don't worry. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.